At the beginning of the movie, we see a baby in a stroller alone on the road at night. A woman named Rita suddenly appears and takes the baby away. She walks with a limp, while the baby's mother calls out, asking her to stop. But Rita keeps going and takes the baby deep into the woods. She places the baby on the ground and begins performing a ritual, following from a ritual book. She lights dry leaves on fire and creates a ring of flames around the baby. The baby starts crying while Rita just stares at her.
Comment. Subscribe to Recapss Horror.
The scene then shifts to the present, where the baby has grown up and is now a girl named Char. She is late for school and asks her granny Rita if she can drop her off. Rita says she cannot and gives her some money for lunch. She explains that her foot has seized up because of the weather and tells Char to ask her mother to take her instead. Char then slowly opens her mother Angela's room door and asks if she can drop her to school since she is running late. Angela, who looks unwell, agrees. In the next scene, we see them in the car. Char asks if everything is okay, and Angela says she is just tired. Char then asks if Angela can go to the shop afterward to buy groceries, but Angela refuses. She then suddenly freezes, nearly causing an accident. Char shouts at her, and a confused Angela apologizes. Char gets out of the car, and Angela tells her she doesn't think she can do it anymore. Char angrily tells her to go home and heads to school. At school, Char is academically gifted but has no friends. A girl named Susan bullies her, and Char is later seen eating lunch alone. While walking home, she notices her mother's car in a field. Car's door is open, and groceries are left inside the car. The scene cuts to the police interrogating the family. Rita tells them that Angela left to pick Char up from school, but never returned. The police ask Char if her mother said anything before leaving. Char replies that Angela told her she was tired. Just then, Aaron, Angela's brother, arrives. The police say they cannot do much yet since only a few hours have passed, but Aaron insists they start searching immediately. The police ask Rita if Angela has ever done something like this before. Rita responds that she hasn't in a long time. When officer asks if Angela has ever gone missing previously, Aaron quickly sends Char upstairs to get some photos of her mother, and she hears faint conversation behind the closed door. She then hesitates to go into her mom's room because she is scared, so she takes a photo from her own room instead. Later, Aaron asks Char if she has checked her mother's room for a recent photo. Char admits she didn't look there. Aaron tells her to search one side while he checks the other and asks neighbors if they've seen Angela. At that moment, Char tells him that Angela said something to her in the car. She had said, "I can't do this anymore." Aaron ignores the comment, and they continue searching. On the way, Char encounters Susan and her group of friends, who begin bullying her again. They snatch the photo from Char's hand. When Char demands it back, Susan hands her a cigarette and says that if she smokes without coughing, she can have her photo returned. Char tries, but starts coughing. Then the other bully, Kelly, burns the photo with a lighter. Char becomes extremely upset, but silently walks away. That night, Rita is seen shaping a ball out of leaves and stems. Aaron tells her he is leaving because he has work the next morning, and he heads out. Rita then gives the ball to Char, saying it is for her protection. She comforts Char, assuring her that Angela will return. Char then recalls happy memories of her mother, how they used to enjoy preparing for Halloween together. Suddenly, she feels something strange in her mother's room. When she looks inside, she sees someone lying on the bed, completely covered with a white sheet, with their hands tied on the bed. Char slowly walks forward, and gathering courage, pulls the sheet away. She screams in terror when she sees her mother in a demonic form. Char jolts awake and begins vomiting. Just then, she hears a sound from downstairs. Cautiously, she goes to check and sees the front door closing, and then opening again. She closes it properly, but when she turns around, she is shocked to see someone already inside. It turns out to be Angela, quietly eating something. The next morning, Aaron returns from the market with some supplies. Char asks him if her mother is okay. Aaron says she is fine and hands Char a pumpkin for Halloween decorations. He tells her about Angela's medication, explaining that the dosage is very strong, so she may act weird. At that moment, Aaron realizes he forgot one of the medicines listed on the prescription, lithium, from the pharmacy. Char offers to go and get it since he is busy. He agrees and goes to tell Angela that he needs to step out for work and that Char has taken the day off from school to run the errand. Char then arrives at the pharmacy. As she exits, Susan follows her. Susan says she heard about her mother and didn't realize that the photo they burned was the one Char was using to search for Angela. Char asks why she cares. Susan replies that she doesn't. Char tells her to leave her alone, and Susan walks away. We then see Susan's father sternly advising her to stay away from Char. When Susan asks why, he simply tells her not to get involved. When Char reaches home, her grandmother tells her she is going to meet a friend to talk about Angela and will be back soon. Char is now alone in the house with her mother and is too scared to go into Angela's room, so she leaves the medicine at the door and goes to her own room. Soon, she hears some noises. When she checks, she sees her mother in the kitchen, cooking while listening to music on the radio. Char noticed that Angela is surprisingly looking fine. Char asks how she is feeling, and Angela says she feels great. Suddenly, Angela starts dancing, and Char is happy to see her mother energetic. Angela even dances with her. Just then, Rita comes home and goes upstairs. Later, Rita enters the kitchen, walks over to the food Angela prepared, and deliberately knocks it onto the floor. Angela quickly starts collecting it back into the dish. At that moment, Aaron arrives, and the scene cuts to the family having dinner. Angela keeps staring at Rita the whole time, even while eating, and Char notices her mother's strange behavior. Rita asks Char if she's going to school the next day. Char says yes and explains that she has a permission slip from school to visit a heritage site, which needs her mother's signature. She brings the form, and Angela signs it in a strange manner. Angela suddenly suggests that she and Char should go on a break together, but Aaron reminds her that the doctor asked her to rest, and that she can't go. This angers Angela. The scene then shifts to Char lying in bed. She sees her mother leave her room and go to the bathroom, looking like she is about to vomit. Char watches in shock as Angela pushes her entire hand down her throat and then suddenly vomits. Angela turns and looks back, and Char quickly lies down, pretending to sleep. Angela enters her room, comes close, and whispers, "Are you awake?" The next morning, we see Angela taking out her pills and throwing them into the sink. She then takes a few pills, crushes them with a glass, and puts the powder into the same glass. After that, she serves Aaron a cup of tea. She tells him she is going for a walk and sarcastically asks if she is even allowed to go out before leaving the house. Meanwhile, Char is walking home from school when the bullies confront her again. Kelly asks what is on her face. Char replies that it is a birthmark. Kelly says it looks like a burn and threatens to give her another one, holding a lighter close to her face. Just as Kelly is about to burn her, Angela appears and punches Kelly, sending her to the ground. The bullies immediately run away. Char and Angela then walk to a riverside spot. Char asks her mother why she punched Kelly, and Angela says Kelly deserved it, and that Char should never let anyone treat her that way. Char then asks where Angela went that day when she abandoned her car in the field. Angela says she can't tell her, not yet. Char asks what is wrong with her. Angela insists nothing is wrong and says everyone just wants to control them, but they can do whatever they want. She walks closer to the river and says she used to bring Char there when she was a baby. Then she suddenly steps into the water and walks forward. Terrified, Char runs after her. Angela keeps going deeper until she disappears under the water. Char is suddenly pulled under as well, but she struggles and manages to resurface and get out safely. Later, the two return home soaking wet, only to discover that Aaron is having violent seizures, likely because of the tea Angela gave him. An ambulance arrives to take him away, and Char asks Angela if Aaron is going to be okay. Instead of being worried, Angela turns on music and starts dancing. Char is shocked by her behavior. Angela invites her to dance, and when Char refuses, Angela begins dancing frantically and aggressively. She suddenly grabs Char, but her foot twists and she falls. She starts laughing, then screams, pushes Char away, and begins pounding on the floor hysterically. Char runs to her room, and Angela chases her. but Char manages to shut the door just in time. Terrified, she notices her own head is bleeding. The next morning, she gets ready for school, but is scared to leave her room. She opens the door slowly and quietly slips out of the house. Char joins her class at the heritage site, where the tour guide tells them about the history of Halloween, explaining that many traditions like bonfires were believed to have cleansing and protective power. Later, Kelly and her friend corner Char again. Kelly calls her crazy, just like her mother, and says Angela should be locked in a mental hospital. She claims her dad told her that Char's family has always been unstable, and that when Char was a baby, her family tried to burn her in a fire because they didn't want her. Just then, Susan arrives and defends Char, stopping the bullies. Meanwhile, the doctor tells Rita that Aaron's condition is the result of a lithium overdose. Rita is shocked because Aaron was never prescribed lithium. Later, she burns the protective ball and places it under Aaron's bed to protect him. On the other hand, Char and Susan begin bonding. Char compliments Susan's necklace, and Susan explains that her father had it made for her a few years ago. It is a replica of the necklace her mother was buried with. Char asks how her mother died, and Susan tells her she drowned. One night, she wandered off and was found near the river. When Char asks if she misses her mother, Susan says she never really got to know her, but sometimes she dreams of her, like she's watching over her and keeping her safe. Char then opens up about her mother, saying she has never seen Angela behave like this. Susan asks if Angela is on medication. When Char says yes, Susan explains that her father is also on heavy medication, and because of it, sometimes he behaves strangely, while other times he seems perfectly normal. Char relates to this because she has been experiencing the same with her mother. She admits that sometimes her mother truly scares her. Susan comments that family can be the scariest thing in the world. Char then invites Susan over for dinner, and Susan agrees. When they reach the house, Char introduces Susan to Rita. But Rita tells Susan that they are having a family dinner tonight, and that it would be better if she goes home. Susan says Char invited her, but Rita asks Char for a moment alone. Char sends Susan to wait in the kitchen. While in kitchen, Susan looks at Char's childhood photo, and suddenly Susan's mother's spirit appears behind her. The spirit grabs her shoulder and whispers, "You need to leave." Susan immediately leaves the house without saying a word, and Char becomes angry at her grandmother. Later that night, Rita tells Char that there is something she needs to know. Char asks if it is about her scar, that it isn't a birthmark. Rita says no, and begins explaining. She tells Char that Angela was very young when she had her, and it was difficult. But Char was a very happy baby, and she never cried. One night, Angela took her out for a walk in her baby buggy because she couldn't sleep. When Angela returned home, Char was gone. Angela couldn't remember where she had been. They eventually found Char by the river. She looked perfect, still smiling, but they didn't want to believe the truth. It wasn't her. Char asks what she means. Rita explains that Char had been swapped, replaced by something else. She tells her about changelings, fairy babies, or creatures left in place of human infants. To send a changeling back, it must be brought to the fire. Char is horrified and asks if her grandmother did that to her. She says everyone at school already thinks her family is crazy. Rita insists that the ones who took her are vengeful beings and they have now returned for Char. Suddenly, they hear noises coming from upstairs. Rita warns her that whatever is upstairs is not her mother. Another thud is heard, and Char runs toward Angela's room. Rita tries to stop her, but Char finds the door locked. Rita says that if they don't act now, they will lose Angela forever, and then the creatures will come for Char. She says she can't open the door until Char believes her. Char assures her that she does. Before opening it, Rita warns her that Angela may no longer look like herself. She has already begun to change. Rita unlocks the door, and they enter. Char sees Angela tied to the bed. Rita says they need to weaken her and bring her to fire to reveal her true form, but Char quickly begins untying her mother. When Rita tries to intervene, Char pushes her outside and locks the door. She then frees her mother but becomes terrified when Angela's reflection in the mirror appears demonic. Angela approaches Char and calmly asks her to open the door. Char does so, and Angela tells her that Rita is just confused. She then locks Char in her room, and, outside, Char hears her grandmother screaming. Char tries to open the door, but suddenly Rita's spirit appears before her and whispers one word: burn it. The next morning, Char wakes up to a noise and finds her bedroom door open. She cautiously goes downstairs and sees her granny sitting motionless in a chair. Just then, Angela appears from behind. Char asks if her granny is dead, and Angela says she will call an ambulance. Char then notices Angela's mouth bleeding, and a demonic tooth falls out. The doorbell rings, and Susan is outside. When Char opens the door, Susan also notices Angela's bleeding mouth. Char tells Angela that she is going with Susan, and the two quickly run out of the house. Later,
"You're still watching? Good. Like, comment, and subscribe to Recapss Horror."
at Susan's room, Susan warns Char not to return to that house. Char explains that her granny told her they must do something, or she would lose her mother forever. Meanwhile, Angela is shown slowly turning into a demon, her hair beginning to fall out. Char tells Susan that her granny mentioned there was a way to test it. When Susan asks what she means by test, Char says that she could bring it to a fire. We then see Char and Susan at a spot where they have stacked wooden pallets in the shape of a bonfire. Susan asks Char if she is sure. The scene then cuts to nighttime, during the Halloween celebration. Angela is seen walking through the streets in a disturbing manner, scaring children while searching for Char. She heads toward Susan's house, but before she reaches it, Char calls out from behind. Angela starts chasing her, and Char cleverly leads her to the bonfire site. When Char arrives, she calls for Susan, but instead, Kelly and her friends show up. Kelly says she wants to get rid of Char. When Char asks where Susan is, Kelly's friends grab Char, throw her inside the stack of wood, and begin pouring flammable liquid over it. Just as they are about to set it on fire, Angela arrives in her full demonic form, terrifying the bullies and causing them to run away. Char is horrified to see her mother like this. Angela says you have no one left in the world and then steps into the pile of wood with her, saying Char should come with her to a place without pain or sadness. She asks if Char doesn't want to see her mother again. Tricked by Angela's words, Char hugs her, but Angela starts hurting her. At that moment, Susan throws aerosol and lighter inside. Char quickly turns it toward Angela, but the demon tries to fool her again by transforming into the image of her real mother, asking why she is doing this. Char replies, "You're not my mother," and sets her on fire. She watches the demon burn and scream, then escapes the woodpile. She and Susan watch the fire burn as Char cries. The next day, the police inform Aaron, who now appears all right, that they have no evidence Angela was in the structure when the fire started, and they are still investigating. They searched the remains but found nothing. Since Char has been through a lot, they will need to contact Child and Family Services, and a social worker will assess the situation. Just then the doorbell rings, and when Char opens it, shockingly, Angela is standing there. Char hugs her. Later, Angela enters Char's room and asks what she is making. Char is crafting the same protective ball Rita used to make. She gives it to Angela and says it will keep her safe. With this, the movie ends. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the chills, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a scare. Until next time, stay spooky.